Good morning. Welcome to Open Hand Farm. Today I have this project that I have to do. I have a friend that has a pear tree and unfortunately it didn't get thinned out, and so there was so much fruit on it, but they're all very tiny fruit. So we went over and picked them up, most of them off the ground, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to try to do with this to salvage it. So if you have a problem like this, maybe this will work for you. So this is what my bowl looks like. See a lot of brown spots, a lot of little black dots. I'm just basically peeling it around the pit, and I'm gonna make some pear butter. So I'll show you how I'm doing this in the best way I know how. Each peach is a different story. This one has some brown on it, so I'm gonna cut that off. And you can see it goes deeper, so I'm gonna cut that out. But the rest of it looks pretty good. So I'm just going to find the pit and cut as close to it as I can all around this little bitty peach. Then I look inside. See that brown spot? We're gonna cut that out. Not sure what it is. There we go. And I know this seems so tedious, and I have to say, I thought that myself. I was like, man, I don't want to pick up those peaches. I just did some peaches that were big and beautiful, and these are so tiny. But I'm gonna get a lot of good stuff out of this. I bought this knife at Lilac Lane. Do you see the curve in it? This is my granddaughter. It does a good job of going in and around and curving around this pit. So like I said, each peach, it has its own story. This one has some black spots on the outside that kind of go deeper than I thought it would. So I just take what I can. More black spots. All right, now I'm just gonna go ahead and go around the pit, and we'll see what's left inside. So there is some brown in there. I'm just gonna kind of skin it out, and that's fine. More that have lots of little black dots. So I'm just kind of pulling those off. This has got a bad spot right there, as you can see. So I'll cut that out, and then the rest of it is fine. I think about in the past, especially around the time of the Depression, and how every little bit would be so important to have. That if you could find peaches, no matter how small or how many brown spots, it would be such a blessing to have them. So I don't want to turn up my nose at something that is so much work, and it's really not that bad. If I had good peaches, I would be peeling them, I would be cutting them open and taking the pits out. It would be more work probably than I am doing right now. Some of these are a little green. I'm sticking them in there. There's enough that are more ripe that I think it'll be okay. And I'm gonna add some honey to add a little sweetness. Okay, I am going to continue working through these. We're getting there. And then I will bring you back to show you what I'm gonna do. Okay, I got all of these cut off of the pits. Now what I'm gonna do, because I have the peeling on them, so I'm gonna run them through the food processor and kind of chop them up a little bit. I'm not going for juice, I mean that much, just enough to make them cook faster and be able to break down easily. I didn't have time to put fruit fresh or anything on these. I thought I would be done faster, but with grandkids here, it's been a little harder. So let's see what we can do. I'm gonna pull some. So I still have chunks, some bigger pieces. So I'm gonna do it a little bit more. Okay, that's nice. So I'm just gonna put this in another bowl. Okay, I'm gonna add this to our bowl. And do another round. If you watched my 5 things I've learned when doing the Every Bit Counts challenge video, you'll see that one of those things I learned is canning can be really messy. This is one of those times, you guys. This stuff is kind of a mess. But you know what? I have a rag. I have water. I can clean it up. And my last little bit. Get it all out. My daughter's dog is really hoping I drop some things for him. This is Jim Bob, and he is 13 years old, and he's just a good old guy. Aren't you, Jimmy? So this is how much I got. That's quite a bit, you guys, and I know it needs to cook down, but it's gonna be great. So now I'm gonna put this in a crock pot, and I'm just gonna put it on low and let it cook throughout the day. And we'll check in on it to see how it's doing as the day goes by. I'm not gonna put any spices or honey or anything in it right now. I'm just gonna let it cook down, taste it later, and see what I think it needs. Okay, let's take a look at this. It's definitely boiling, and I wouldn't say it's thicker yet, but it's doing well. We're just gonna give it a stir and let it keep cooking. It's been about an hour now. When you put your lid on your crock pot, you don't want it to be on where it traps the moisture in there. So I just put it across the opposite direction, and that works well. Okay, you guys, I have let the peach butter cook for about 5 hours in the crock pot on low, and I'm done for the night. So I've decided that I'm making peach sauce instead. So let me show you the consistency that this is. All right, so it's thick, but it's not really spreadable like a peach butter would be. I also added to it some honey, cinnamon, and vanilla. And it tastes really good. I did end up getting 4 pints, and I am water bath canning that right now, so I'll show you that when I'm done. But I just wanted to share what I ended up doing instead of letting it go into a peach butter. I forgot to tell you that since I only had 4 jars, I decided to just use one of my soup pots, and since I don't have a rack for the bottom of it, I just put a towel down there. That way I didn't have to waste all the water that it would take to fill up my water bath canner. So if you just have a small batch and you don't want to waste the water, just use one of your other pots. Thanks so much for watching today. I just wanted to share quickly how important it is to save everything that we can. I would have normally just looked over those peaches, and instead I now have 4 pints of white peach sauce that is really yummy. If you have some fruit that looks like you might not want to do something with it, let me know what you did do with it, how much you were able to preserve, and what it was. Until next time, Blessings on you and yours.